Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a legacy video every Friday. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another legacy video. Recording today about 3 hours after the ban and restricted announcement. You'll be watching this a little bit later this week, but I'm recording fresh off of the banning of grief. So we bid grief adieu. Goodbye, grief. You won't be missed, I'm pretty sure. It is, I don't know. It's a weird one because I feel like grief has like effectively been sort of soft banned for the past month or so, month and a half. I don't know. Like in the sense that if you weren't playing in high-ish stakes events, like on Magic Online, that would be like the challenges and beyond. Then you really didn't face grief a lot. So for instance, this is just I'm showing you my spreadsheet of where I record my matches. These 82 matches is me playing this list, the one I'm recording with today, the Doom Frog list. And as you can see, I have faced 3 Riscaminator decks. And this is if I just rank them by date. This is dating back on to the 12th of June. So for about a month and a half or so, 2 months, I guess, 2.5 months, I faced 3 Scaminator decks. I've played other decks, and results of which are in matchups are recorded in other sheets in this spreadsheet. So it's not that I've only faced 3 Scaminator 3 times in almost 3 months, but it is like not a lot. So, in a sense, I don't really expect, at least right off the bat, a lot to change. I don't unfortunately am able to play that often in the challenges for sort of family and life choices and reasons. So I expect the people that frequent those events are probably often or are going to run into a bit of a change in pace. So yeah, aside from the challenges, blah blah blah, I'm not really expecting the format to change drastically right now. I do feel like probably what is going to be the most significant change is that where people were probably not super invested in focused brewing on a like on the large scale that we can sometimes see the community do. I think they will be now. So I think like people are probably going to start like testing Grixis Delver or Grixis Tempo, Blue Black Tempo, Eldrazi, and Nadu decks. I expect those strategies to be probably at the forefront. Some people think Painter is also going to be a pretty big like player. So those are the decks that I expect to like make moves and to that I want to be able to play against. And so I'm keeping up with this. Like I'm gonna keep playing this list. I'm not changing anything in the main deck. If there I was to make one change, it would be that I would really love a second Street Wraith to have like 3 cyclers. But I don't really have a card that I'm happy to cut. It might be the second Cabal Ritual. I might consider that as the cut. Um, Actually, you know what? Sometimes you should actually do something when you think about it. And so I'm just going to do it right now. There we go. What I like about this deck list a lot is that like Ring plus Doomsday, like that's 7 sort of ritual petal synergistic bombs, and then Frog is just of such a like good power level that having it for such a low cost of 2 mana and it can be pitched to force, blah blah blah. Even though the rest of the main deck doesn't really sort of necessarily play directly into it, it's just good enough on merit to have to make your opponents have to deal with like a multitude of things. So I really like that. And then the sideboard, I have a lot of black removal. With Dismember, it's five black removal spells, and I have two Tarmogoyf or Tarmogoyf, Barrogoyf, and two Sheoldred, and all that comes in versus the Tempo decks, so that's nice. And I cut all the Doomsday cards basically. I have two consigned to memory because I feel like they're good enough versus Eldrazi, and the matchup is popular enough for that to matter. These two slots, Sheldog and Emrakul, I'm a little bit sort of lukewarm on right now. I don't necessarily expect a lot of like Jeskai control, which is where I would primarily want this, but Emrakul does have the splash damage of just hosing Painter, and I feel like I was just at a local sort of high stakes tournament with like, we were 12 players. It was like private thing, and I faced Painter twice, and I 2-0'd them twice, and it was just I feel like this list has taken me from feeling like Painter is a pretty bad matchup to feeling like Painter is a very okay matchup. I would say versus an average Painter player that's not sort of very enfranchised in the format and doesn't expect what's going to happen versus this type of Doomsday list. Um, the fact that I just board out of Doomsday and I bring in all these black cards and the Emrakul, it just you can still lose like if they have like a really strong Saga draw and they just poop out like three or four huge constructs, then that's how a way to lose. But yeah, but other than that, it feels pretty good. And then I'm gonna try something. You, for those of you with a longer lineage of the format, you'll remember that this was a card that saw play. I can't remember when, but I want to say like 2016, 17 ish. And I honestly don't even remember. It was, I guess, the relevant matchups. I think it was like Shardless Bug, a sort of grindy mid-range control-y bug deck back when Deathrite Shaman was still legal that played this as a sideboard option to beat Death and Taxes and Elves, but I could be getting my eras and timelines wrong. But the reason I have decided to try two of these is because um, I think this is the best hoser for Nadu decks that I've been able to come up with so far. And it might be overkill. I might not face Nadu enough, and it might not be good enough if I do face it. But I think Nadu is going to be a deck to watch moving forward. And you know, it's such a robust strategy that it can really play around or through just most hate. Like draw taxes doesn't get it. Deafening silence doesn't really get it. Um, like I don't know. There's just a lot of it's just very good at playing through hate as soon as it gets like Nadu and Nomads, and if it has like a third creature, then it's almost like I don't know. I played against a very cool version with that bestow creature, Spring something Nantuko, and it was just like an all-in combo deck that it didn't play forces or anything. It was just sort of like a Green Sun Zenith Court of Calling list, and I might this might be an over like course correction on my part, but I just wanted to try it. I was like thinking all day like what how does that deck lose? Like what actually hoses it? And I feel like this does. It might just be like crap. You do kind of need to draw it and a Dark Ritual and two lands to be able to I think get this on reliably into play before it's too late. But if you do, then it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna try this Knight of Souls Betrayal. I have two. Maybe one is correct, but this is also a bit of a testing period, and I want to see if I actually draw it. If I do meet if I do meet Nadu. All right, enough yapping on my part. Let's jump into the league. Okay, opponent mulligans to 6 here. I'm on the draw, and I have a sweet, sweet hand. Pretty close to the nuts. If we draw like a Lotus Petal or another Cycler or a Brainstorm, we get to same turn win. But let's see here. Okay, opponent is on a Grief. Oh no! This is so... Okay, so basically, I'm guessing that this is a person that was already in the league. I don't know why I got queued up against them as I was like starting with 0 matches. This is bullshit. Well, I guess what did I do here? I think I just don't do anything. They're down to 3 cards in the hand. I don't think I force this if they have the days. It's a complete blowout. Okay, so this is, I mean, either Magic Online just hasn't implemented this, or it doesn't take effect until tomorrow. I don't know. Oh yeah, my opponent just wrote to me. They could have refunded the in progress league, but they chose not to. Yeah. Okay. So opponent, uh, the opponent was already in a league, so, which was my first theory here. Okay. So interesting. Okay. So they take Thoughtseize and they pass. So they don't have reanimate. I would love to draw a ritual, or I guess another ring. I'm gonna cycle Street Wraith. Days. Um, I guess I'm gonna ponder here off of an underground. See if they have Wasteland. It is quite risque, but I think I do want to try and look for more mana here. Uh, I'm gonna shuffle this, even though this has like a Dark Ritual Doomsday. If I don't find a land and they Wasteland me, then I think I've just lost the game. We shuffle, we draw second days. So now they don't know about either of these 2 dazes, so that's something, I guess. But yeah, we are very much sort of sitting ducks right now if they hit a Wasteland or if they just have one, which they do. Go figure. Yep. At least no reanimate. Oh, and we draw land. That was good. Okay, I think I'm gonna. I'll probably fetch Undercity Sewers at the end of their turn because if I hit a second land, I can then go for the thing. The ring here. Oh, reanimate on Grief. Honestly, I think I force of will this. Maybe I hang on. I'm gonna no, I am gonna force. I don't. I was gonna say maybe I should fetch the sewers, but yeah. All right, so that was forced, so that's good. Um, I'm worried about days right now. If I do find a land off of this sewers, then I guess I'm pretty worried about days. Let's have a look. Another ritual. I'll take that. I mean, if they daze, they have to daze the first ritual. And I mean, if they do that, then it's just a 1-for-1. Okay, they didn't. So if they have now that they have to have a force effect to not have me resolve ring. If they have a force effect, then okay, but they didn't. Sweet. Let's draw a card. I am at 15 life, which is not amazing. I'm gonna play out this petal because like mana is sort of what we're choked on right now, and if they were to like, I don't know, just thinking worst case scenario, discard us at some point. I guess we could have waited a turn because right now we have protection from everything. Okay, they're passing. We have a daze if they have orc here. Draw on earth, right? And just some lands. I guess I can't complain too much about lands, but yeah. This entomb. Oh no. Okay. So if they just had, I think if they had an animation effect in hand, I think they must have probably drawn the entomb because if they had an animation effect, they would have gone for grief last turn. Is my hope, but well, we will see. Okay, here is okay. It's a troll. Okay, so their graveyard is like flush with cards. I'm guessing mana is not what they were missing. It's 2 mana. It's animate dead. Okay. That was lucky for us. And I think I'm gonna value having the untapped land in play next turn. So I'm gonna just hard cast the Daze. And I can pay for a Daze if that's what they have, and they only have one card in hand, so it's looking decent. Okay, they can see. Yeah, letting me untap, and then like I would have drawn 6 cards with the ring at that point, so I get that. Okay, so now we get to do the pivot here. Oops, we don't need Shelter Isle. We do need the Fatal Pushes, the Long Goodbye, the Dismember, the 2 Shouldreds, and that's 9 cards. And so let's cut the Doomsday, cut the 2 Thassa, cut the Edge of Autumn. That's 7 cards. Cut the LED. That's 8 cards. So I think like the last cut is going to be between a Street Wraith or a Consider or maybe a Thoughtseize, but I like the Street Wraiths are kind of a weak card outside of Doomsday, but they do count as a creature for Barrowgoyf, which is nice. Consider is by some margin the weakest cantrip, but it is still a cantrip. And we are sitting at 20 blue cards right now, which is fine, but kind of approaching the low end for what I'm comfortable with. So I think I'm actually going to cut 1 Street Wraith and just make this the swap. If they had shown me Bowmasters, I would be a little bit tempted to bring in the Knight of Souls Betrayal, but probably not. It's probably not correct. Okay. I'm gonna keep. I think. Ugh. The fact that they can just like rip my frog and animate it is so annoying. Okay. They ponder. I'm happy that they didn't go lead with the Black Bruising Land, but then I remembered that they were playing Grief, a card that is now banned, but because Magic Online doesn't just reimburse lists. Maybe it's too unfeasible for them to like go through lists. Yeah. Grats. You grief me, you psycho. And they pitched a frog, meaning they have bigger plans or they have a spare frog. I'm guessing I'm losing my Thoughtseize. I guess that makes sense. I'd love to draw Daze here. Or a second frog. I think I'm going to start with Street Wraith. If I were to hit Daze, bummer. So, like, if they Daze me here, it sucks because I will. That 2-for-1's me because the pedal is my way to cheat this in a turn earlier. But if they do, then at least they're not playing their frog next turn. They force. Okay. Pitching Harbinger of the Seas. Is it Harbinger or Harbinger? Harbinger, I think. They have black mana. Is it going to be reanimate? Yes, of course. Okay, it's on my frog at least. I'm actually happy about that because if they had griefed and taken my frog, I would be left with 1 stinking land. Or like no, just all lands, no action. And my frog currently is bigger or has the potential to be bigger than their frog. So let's see. I guess they're both my frogs, but in a way you're all my frogs. I would love for them to pass here, and then I would love to draw a removal spell. Please, pretty please. No attacks. Okay. Oh please, will you get out of here, deck? I'm playing 16 lands, and you give me this. Okay. I will play out 1 land here. I'm going to attack. And we'll see if they want to lose their frog. Looks like they're just giving me a card here. Which of course means... Are you freaking kidding me? I suppose I could have fetched Undercity Sewers. Oh, this is aggravating. This is just plain old aggravating. How many lands have I drawn? Oh, man. Okay. You get a card. I'm kind of concerned. I guess if they grief me here, I'm not too concerned. Okay, they just pass. Okay, I think I'm going to do the Undercity Sewer thing here. Force of will. Is that good enough? I think it probably isn't. Okay, and I'm going to attack here. And I'm going to discard a land. Probably even 2 lands here. I mean, it's a blowout if they have removal, but so I'm kind of banking on that not being the case. And it wasn't the case, and I draw second days. Which, I mean, it's not terrible because they're kind of, for the time being at least, bottlenecked a little bit on lands. It's not great, though. So their frog could become a 6/7, and mine could become a 7 and an 8/9 next turn if I were to choose to do so. But let's see here. Are they ready to discard? They're discarding. Yep. Discarded a Scalding Tarn. That makes sense. And cycling a troll. Okay, mid combat. Spicy. To then discard the land. Okay. Just getting a land out of their deck. And Wasteland. Alright. And Grief. Holy moly. Okay. So I take 5, and I'm at 9. They draw a card. Next turn they can deal me, they could deal me 8. Any removal spell, please. Okay. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to attack here. Right? And if I discard the 2, the fetch land and the Underground Sea, it'll be a 5. And then if I also discard a days, I'd rather keep hold of the Cavern in case I draw like Shieldred. And I think I'm going to keep hold of 1 days in case they have like exactly Petty Theft right now. And yeah, so like they will need to come up with a blocker or a removal spell, or they won't be able to attack next turn. I'll take a Ponder, huh? Yes, please. Okay. I'm just going to fire this off. I guess I'll do it on their upkeep. Not sure it really matters. Like, if they have Force of Negation, I would love for them to fetch, tap out, and then get blown out by days. Because that would effectively time walk them. I don't think it costs me that much. Okay, they fetch here. I guess they're probably getting sewers. Yeah. I would also rather them not knowing that their frog is about to die. Okay, they put a C into the graveyard. Okay, frog just died. This is it. They have to do something. Brainstorm is a good start. I have a second Fatal Push coming though. So yeah, we did it. Sweet. Sweet relief. Yeah, that was interesting frog on frog bedlam there. But at the end of the day, I felt pretty good. I guess like they mulliganed to 6 in game 1, right? And we got the ring out after a little bit of to and fro, and the ring just ran away with it. Yep, that was it. Let's go to round number 2. All right, on the play for round number 2. And yeah, another turn 1 Psychic Frog. I'm not going to pass on that. I think I will, while my opponent mulligans to 6. I think I'll choose, no, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play the island. I was debating between the island and the Underground Sea. I was thinking like if I play Underground Sea and they wasteland me with the frog in play, then I'm not gonna be too upset about that. But I would also like to have access to the black mana for, like, say, Unearth. They force of will, pitching their own frog. So I could choose to just let this go, but I could also choose to daze here, which I think I'm going to do. They wouldn't force here if they had an answer to frog. Okay, so frog is in, and we pass. So another frog deck. Let's hope this isn't also a grief deck. I'm going to be a little bit upset if it is. We draw land. That's not amazing. I'm just going to attack here before doing anything. Get my card. And we just draw another land. Okay, I'm going to pass here. So this is a Scamnator deck. Wow, 2 Scamnator decks. So hopefully this is a, like I said, a non-grief one. But that, if so, that's really interesting. That means this person is trying a scam deck in the post-grief ban world, which is certainly very much something that's up for debate. Reanimate on what? On the, yeah, okay, dude, that's fine. If they can answer my frog, then it's good for them. But if they can't, then I think I pretty easily outrace this. But we'll see. I'm gonna start out with a brainstorm. I would love to find force of will here. I do find force of will, and I guess Doomsday is not the worst either. I think I'm gonna put away Ring, and I'm gonna hang on to the Unearth. I guess I'm kind of prized into pitching cards here, right? Or I could just try and win with Doomsday. How would that work? Gosh, I'm not sure. Okay, I think I'm gonna give this this bad boy flying first of all. I think I'm gonna fetch Undercity Sewers here. Wouldn't mind finding like Dark Ritual. I guess I'll take another Brainstorm as well. So let's see here. I have to do some math here. If I discard Doomsday, Swamp, and Unearth, for instance, I have a 4/5. My opponent is at 8. Then they attack me down to 14. I attack them down to 4. I think I am going to do that actually, rather than try and make something happen with Doomsday. It is a little bit worrying if they have removal for the frog here. Like force of will, then if that gets dazed, that's a pretty big spew. What if I don't do anything else here? They're at 9. Then I draw the brainstorm. Because I'm kind of interested in hanging on to the Unearth. But then again, like if they kill my frog and I unearth it, then it's a 1/2 again. No, I think I am just going to actually discard the Unearth as well. Okay, let's see here. If they have the blowout. If they don't, I get to draw. Okay. Like if they have a frog of their own here, then it might be enough to sway the tide. We'll see. Yeah, I'm most worried about a daze plus something relevant here. Okay, well, that was just land though. And I'm gonna discard. Not sure it'll matter. Will it matter if I discard the land? I'm not gonna discard the land. Draw a second one though. Okay, I'm gonna force, not force, I'm gonna cast Brainstorm here. Put back land, Brainstorm. I'll play a land. I have double force. That seems pretty good. Guessing this is Undercity Sewers. Yep. Pitch Force of Will to that, or Surveil it away. And yeah, I'll Force of Will a frog or removal on my frog. But I didn't have to. Okay, cool. So they saw the creature, so they know there are creatures in the deck, but they also saw Doomsday, so I'm hoping that they are kind of respecting the Doomsday plan a bit. And I'm just going to board in the exact same manner as I did just before, if I can remember it. So that was 9 cards in, 1 Edge, 1 Street Wraith, 1 LED, 4 Doomsday, and 2 Thassa's Oracle. Yep, that checks out. Okay, this is a little bit of a weird one. Like if they go, I mean, I still don't know if this is one of those people that were just queued in with grief. So if I get grief to reanimate it, then it's a blowout. But I'm gonna keep. If they don't have the grief, then Shieldred feels safe-ish in my hand. Okay, looks like they are just passing here. And now it's between the Thoughtseize and Ponder. I think I would kind of like to not have them play Psychic Frog on turn 2. So I'm gonna Thoughtseize here. If they daze, they can't frog. They can brainstorm and hide the frog. Oh, yeah, fair enough, man. This is just the this is the thing, right? This is they've replaced grief with unmask. Okay, I'm gonna bin the Psychic Frog, and they'll get to unmask here and take likely either Shieldred or the One Ring. Reanimate is a pretty live draw for them, or Animate Dead, but we'll see. So they put a no. What did they put an unmask into the graveyard, and then they drew Brainstorm. Okay, and they played Underground Sea. So they brainstormed like after playing a land, so they can't fetch. They control though to cycle. Guessing I'm getting unmasked here, or it could be it's like. Oh, okay, never mind. So their hand, oh, we don't know their hand. It could be a whole bunch of things. I think I might just hold on to this Brainstorm for now and not cast Ponder, and then be able to mix things up here in the face of an unmask. They're casting Ponder, okay. It's interesting that they've added unmask over, I'm going to assume it's over something like Orcish Bowmasters, which I mean, I guess I get that this is sort of the closest direct replacement, but it doesn't seem. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they could also have Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, so unmask. All right, we'll know if they have Orcish Bowmasters momentarily, because I'm going to brainstorm in response to this. Okay, so they pitched Fatal Push. So I think I'm going to put back Shieldred and Frog. I'm going to let them take the One Ring. And then I'm going to... bummer, I can't... No, I can. I was going to say I can't, like, get to have both the Frog and the Shieldred, because if I want to play Frog, that is, because I would need to fetch. Okay, so they took Unearth, and then they cast Animate Dead on Troll. Alright. They have 2 cards left. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Ponder here, draw the Shieldred, cast Psychic Frog. And if they have like push for that, then they have push. I could also try and grab the Force of Will and then Shoulder the next turn. Is that a better play? Yeah, I think actually it is. Okay, change of plans. Draw the Force. They have 2 cards in hand, and they have a 5/5. And I'm gonna take a lot of damage because I'm also gonna be fetching and shit. But I'm gonna basically I'm gonna try and play the One Ring next turn, and then I'm gonna play Shoulder it the turn after and be on easy street. But we'll see. They have 3 cards now. They could have Wasteland. Um, I think I will have to try and Force of Will this, like if they have days, because I do think I need to not take another 5 before I get this train rolling. So yeah, best case scenario they have nothing. Second case scenario they have a Force of Will, and third base case scenario is they have days. We force they don't have anything else. Days, yeah. I guess I will Force of Will here, and if they have days, like another like answer to this, then I'm probably dead. And they haven't. Yeah, and they had Force. Okay, wow, brutal. Okay, okay. So I'll take another 5. They have no cards. And if I draw a cantrip, can I survive for another turn? Maybe. Oh, Ponder. Not good. Yeah, I think I need to draw like my one dismember or a like a brainstorm. They shuffled their library. Okay. They didn't see Shieldred yet. Okay, we're dead. Yep, yep. So I'm gonna like spend some time during my sideboarding here just to not resubmit immediately, in case they do, and then they'll know that I haven't done anything. They also didn't really see. They didn't see any removal spells. They didn't see any creatures other than Psychic Frog, which I pitched. So for all they know, we're still on Doomsday. But we did see that they were packing Fatal Pushes, which is fair. I mean, that makes sense since your opponent just showed you Psychic Frog in game 1. All right, let's hope for a good one, hey. Yeah, this is okay. I like the double Fatal Push, and I like being able to fetch. I mean, ideally, I would fetch under City Sewers, but I really want to get like Basic Swamp, Basic Island going here. So I like having fetch lands that enable that. Ponder, yeah, you got it. Wow, Unearth, or not Unearth, Unmask in this type of deck seems wild. Um, just the no, just that difference, that subtle difference of like not being able to leverage the advantage seems crazy. Or not crazy, sorry, that was wrong, but just seems like so much worse. Okay, maybe we ease off drawing removal spells now. How about that? Especially, like, we have to really be careful they don't get to resolve a troll. Hopefully Double Days can help with that. Here they go, a fetchin'. Just a frog, how about that? Yep, you got it. I have plenty of removal for that. Gonna fetch Basic Swamp here. And now I get to play Psychic Frog. So I'm gonna try that. And if they daze, I then get to daze, and I get to replay my snow-covered island. So that would be kind of nice. Oh, Force of Will, that's even better. Ponder was pitched, but I do have a daze. And Frog is in. Okay. Them forcing it makes me think it's either because they don't have removal for it. It's probably because they don't have removal for it. It could also be because they have like a reanimate or animate dead, and but then they have a creature in their own graveyard. So I guess that's not really that's nonsensical. They have second Frog. Yeah. I'm loaded up on removal, baby. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and push pre-combat here. And if they want to like force, you know, they're gonna have a bad time. Okay, and then I'm gonna attack. I'm just gonna like go for a non-pump here. I just want the card. Love to like draw some lands. Unearth is also semi interesting. That means we can start to like make decisions on whether or not to let them kill our frog if they find removal for it. Okay, they're brainstorm locked. They did find a land, just wasn't a fetch land. We find a land, that's very nice. And I'm gonna attack here, and if nothing happens, I just get block. I just get the attack in with the draw trigger. I'm gonna fetch under city sewers. I'll probably bottom that ring, or not bottom. I mean graveyard that ring. Dark Ritual. They have not used any dazes. Okay, I'm gonna pass for one more turn to be able to Dark Ritual out the Shieldred through a daze. They entomb. So if they have, they get like a Traxor or whatever, and if they have into like a reanimate plus force, then GG's, I guess. But if not, then it feels okay. Yeah, I'm not playing any graveyard hate, so this like entomb reanimate plan is just full blown viable for them. So let's see, they're gonna have 4 cards here. They could very well have like unmask, pitch something, and then reanimate, or have a force of will. But they've used 1 force. I don't know. Let's see. Animate dead. Yeah. So there's a tiny bit of tension here, where I could. So I could Dark Ritual and cycle Unearth, and if I draw another blue card, then I could force pitch that blue card, and then if they have like actual reanimate as their last card, then I get to daze that. That means I'm giving up on Shieldred next turn, unless I draw land, but is that crazy? Because I don't ever want to lose 2 days right now. I mean, if Atraxa resolves, then resolving Shieldred afterwards is not going to matter at all. They're just going to win easily. So I think I'm actually going to do the thing. I'm going to cycle Unearth. Okay, it didn't matter. I drew a petal. Incidentally, that means I can play Shieldred next turn if I am not facing down Atraxa. Yeah, fuck it. Okay. That's a bummer. What did they reveal here? They're going to unmask and take my... I'm assuming they're going to unmask. They may keep Fatal Push instead. But then, like, I don't have a way to remove Antraxa, unfortunately. So I think this is just GG's. And they have Wasteland anyways. As what they keep, they kept Unmask, Psychic Frog, Fatal Push, and Wasteland. I'm guessing I'm getting unmasked right now. It would be weird for them to keep unmask, not unmask me. Yep. And I think I'm just about ready to pack it in here. Barrowgoyf, does that... Actually, Barrowgoyf does matter. Barrowgoyf matters big time, right? Oh, but they have... What was pitched here? What was pitched to the unmask? Was it Troll? That means they have a Fatal Push, right? Yeah. Oh no, they have Fatal Push. Because actual Barrowgoyf, like, it loses the race, even though it's a 6/7, but it loses the race. But they can't block, or they're gonna trade. So what's my plan here? If I just play out the Barrowgoyf, they're gonna... So they had the Wasteland. Right, I need to click off shit here. So Wasteland is gone. Days, no. Underground Sea, no. There's no reanimate because they chose Unmask. And they chose Psychic Frog. So there's... Oh, I guess I shouldn't have clicked that. So Psychic Frog is in their hand. Fatal Push is in their hand. And so right now, the Dothy Voidwalker proxies for a Does it matter though? Let's say I play Barrowgoyf, and then what? Yeah, like if I play Barrowgoyf and they don't get a way to get Revolt, so they can't Fatal Push, they attack in, I drop to 9, they go to 16. Then I attack, they most likely just take it. Then I need to hit a second Barrowgoyf or a Shieldred for things to start mattering. But the alternative is for me to wait and hope they get like they use their Fatal Push next turn on my frog, but then I'll like be at 9. So no, I am just gonna cast this and hope they don't like have a fetch land in hand or whatever, or find another wasteland. I guess they can play their Psychic Frog and then just chump block it, and then it will that will enable Revolt. Animate Dead on Shoulder It. Get the fuck out of here. You damn. Okay, I'm gonna concede. All right, that was kind of brutal. I mean, I feel like we played for the out that we had for an actual out to the actual thing that happened, which was that they had both Animate Dead and Reanimate, and yeah, if we cycle into a blue card and not the Lotus Petal, we feel super vindicated. But yeah, that's not what happened. All right, round number 3, and I am on the draw. And here we have a turn 1 Doomsday, so I'm not gonna throw this away. We have Force of Will as well. We could also choose to like turn 1 the One Ring if for some reason we feel like doing that. Vexing Bauble. You don't say. So this is either a Doomsday Mirror, or it is like a Storm deck. I'm much hoping for the former. I'm gonna. It's like if this is the Doomsday Mirror, and they are sitting on counter magic, then me blowing this Force of Will right now, if it was a Storm deck, would they lead on this and not play out any of their zeros? I'm gonna let this resolve. Yeah, I'm gonna let this resolve. If this is Doomsday and they like, if they have even the days or something, and I would just rather them also just not being able to do this, and I can Doomsday with impunity here. So it does suck that like we lose a chunk of the cards in our hand. Okay, so I'm gonna just put Thassa and a, where'd he go? Thassa and some Cyclers, and then like I guess a Cavern of Souls, because the opponent might end up like drawing a card with their Bauble. So this is going to be pass the turn twice, but if they do end up like drawing a card with their Bauble next turn, then our Petal is on, so we would only have to pass once. So I am going to put Thassa second from the bottom, and then yeah, I'm just going to put the 2 Street Wraiths on top. Can cycle twice before I have to start thinking about like losing a land, which is not ideal with one land in play. So like if this is a list, if we're up against a deck that has actual Stifle, we have likely lost. So I'm passing again here. I wonder what this is. Would like to know. Would like to know. Getting a Undercity Sewers, I would guess. Yep. Still it feels like the mirror match, but with Vexing Bauble. A card that was just restricted in Vintage today, which is interesting. Personal Tutor, okay, it is Doomsday. All right, I feel good now. Unless they're playing Wasteland or Stifle. Which, ironically, is not a crazy thing to say anymore. A couple of years ago it would have been, but Wonderproof sort of paved the way for like Stifle Wasteland in Doomsday. And they're passing here. So I think what could happen or be happening here is that they might have Force of Will in hand, and they're hoping that I'm going to put Thassa through or like into play with without going through the cavern. Unfortunately, I can't both days and force here if they do that, because that's sort of the price I paid when I decided to put Thassa second from the bottom. Or right now I would have drawn cavern. I could make the land drop and then sack the cavern to edge. But as it is, I'm gonna have to do it like this. So we name Merfolk. The fact they haven't conceded yet makes me like quite concerned that they might have actually like stifle or something else that matters here. Okay, they didn't. Cool. So, Consigned to Memory is good versus Doomsday. Shoulder It is also good versus Doomsday. Barrow Goyf is good if we want to like try and be more of a mid-range creature deck. I think we also need to be playing removal spells, because I think most Doomsday decks these days are playing creatures that are quite scary if they resolve. Maybe even Dismember, like for Shieldred. So this is 10 cards. So the question is, do we even want to be a Doomsday deck post sideboard? Especially on the play, or sorry, on the draw. And I think the answer is probably no. But let's see how much we feel comfortable cutting some more cycling cards. If we could consider we're down to 15, 19, 21 blue cards, that's still fine. And then probably I'll cut Unearth as well. I don't expect them to have a lot of removal, and I'm no longer playing Consider or even Doomsday, so I'm no longer like gunning to have that angle in the deck. Ugh. I mean, I'm gonna keep, but this is not ideal versus like if anything fast. Okay, they can duress me here. They probably take Brainstorm or Dark Ritual, and they send me a smiley face. Oh no! I hope that doesn't mean like Lotus Petal Cabal Therapy Ponder, or even just Lotus Petal Go Time. Take my Dark Ritual, yeah. Well, that kind of signals to me that they're not like planning for the game to be over next turn. Oh, thank you, opponent. All right. Fatal Push. It's very interesting. I'm gonna ponder now. Need to find more lands. Opponent says the pressure. I told them that they were in a video. It's not to put pressure on you, bud. Yeah, I think I'm going to stack them so that I draw the Delta now, and then draw the Cabret next turn. Undercity Sewers. And they topped the Undercity Sewer Surveil, so that's foreboding. And while I don't, I know the next card is a Brainstorm, which I guess I don't mind drawing, but I am gonna Brainstorm here and like shuffle up the cards that they know about are in my hand. I guess having a second daze is good. I'll get rid of a Ponder. I don't know if I should keep hold of this Fatal Push. I think I'll get rid of the Cabal Writ. So that means we aren't casting Barrogoyf right now, but I'm okay with that. That's maybe a little bit of a later thing. They Ponder. Okay. I really kind of dig this kind of mirror, at least for the time being. I mean, I don't know. They could just be full blown. They showed me duress, so that feels more like a combo approach. But like sometimes like both Doomsday players will like board half or completely out of Doomsday, and be like, I'm the control deck now. Okay. Once upon a time, Doomsday sometimes also played Opposition Agent in the sideboard. Really hope I'm not getting Oppo Agented here. Okay, I wasn't. Undercity Sewers. Yeah, I'll take the land. And I'm not quite ready, I think, to play into a daze here with Barrogoyf. So I'll probably ponder. I'll do it before making my land drop. Ooh, a dark ritual. Tell you what, I'm happy burning a dark ritual to put a 4/5. I guess it's a 3/4 into play. For now, it's a 3/4. You dig me? They might consider forcing this if they have Force of Negation and they're thinking like, oh no, is this Shieldred? It's just a 3/4 little Barrogoyf. Surely this isn't something worth your time. Yep. All right. Let's see. They could have like Fatal Push. And I mean, all of this jockeying for like creature mid-range positioning from my side is just going to look ridiculous if they just combo me off next turn. I only have 2 dazes to put up any resistance. There's a pedal. I'll let Shieldred resolve here if they have her, because I have the push and I can get to Revolt. If this is Doomsday, it is. I think I probably double daze this. That does kind of put me all in on just Barrogoyf. Let's see, they'll drop to 9. I can't really make Barrogoyf any bigger right now, so I think that's just too risky. What the hell? This daze is stuck to my mouse cursor. Okay, let's daze. I guess that means my Barrogoyf just grew. Because I forgot it's both graveyards. I still think I'm supposed to double daze this Doomsday. And I would like to not pick up the Undercity Sewers here in order to be able to have 2 mana next turn. So if they Force of Will, then that takes it from 9 to 8 post Doomsday. They do Force of Will, pitch Flusterstorm. Okay, I'm going to Brainstorm in response. I could find the 3rd daze. I could find Force plus blue card. That's a bummer. Okay, let's put back the frog and the land, and then we can put frog back into play. Not back. We can like draw the frog with our Goyf, and that will also mill over a bunch of cards, and hopefully we can like ponder for consign to memory after. It's risky because this is going to be it's 4/5, so I'm gonna draw Underground Sea, then I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna mill frog plus 3 unknowns, and if consign is in one of those 3, then it's a blowout, especially if it's like the first 2, because I could have just pondered into it. But I still think it's but I don't know. I can't do that kind of math, just sort of off the top of my head. So we could also like opponent could have like Lotus Petal, Consider, and then be playing Deep Analysis like it's 2022. But or I guess was that 2021 when Consider came out? I can't remember. So intense here. 3 Underground Sea mirrors so far. I wonder if I am going to get to play against anything else. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at their deck to see what we need to be ready for game number 2, or 3 rather, if there is such one. Noxious Revival is cool tech. I really like that. Vision Charm. Why are we playing Vision Charm? Why are we playing Vision Charm? They keep an LED, so they sort of plan on being fast. I actually see no creatures here, so that's going to be good to know unless they sort of double pivot here. 3 Force of Negation, 1, 2, 3 Flusterstorm. That's a lot of anti-Doomsday stuff. So, yep. All right. The Camera of Souls is in here. Cool. Is there any Thassa? Or would there be two? Yeah, why would you be playing this? Let me just think here. So you can mill 4 cards. Oh, okay. So it's just like to mess up my pile, I guess. All right. Okay, so they have passed, and I think we just attack here. We do risk showing them stuff like it's such a bad, like such a disaster if consign is milled. Wait, why is? Oh no, this is just a 3. Now, yeah, because their graveyard was messed up. Yeah, I could have played Petal to grow this to a 4/5. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done that. I In any case, I think it's more important to have. Okay, so let's mill here 3. There's a frog. So I'm going to put the frog into my hand, and I'm going to play a land, and then I'm going to play Ponder. How about a Consign to Memory? Force of Will. They showed me Cavern of Souls, so I kind of dig this. I'm gonna like hopefully they can't empty the library, discard my Force of Will, and put Thassa into play off of 3 lands and 2. They could. So what's better here, taking the Thoughtseize or the Force of Will? It's got to be the Force of Will. I'm gonna play yeah, Lotus Petal here. So we could put them to 1 life on the next combat step if we were to use our Petal. Edge of Autumn, okay. I mean, maybe they just have like they have a second Cavern post board or something. But that just would not make any sense. Street Wraith, okay, 1 card left. Thassa's Oracle. Okay, I'm gonna let this resolve, and then with the trigger on the stack, I'm gonna Fatal Push it. And we shall see if they have Force or Flusterstorm. Even Fluster would do it here. All right, they didn't have it, and that fizzled, and we can serve in for the win. GG's opponent, yeah, close one. I wonder what the last card in the pile and the cards in hand were. All right, off to round number 4. Okay, on the draw for round number 4 with an interesting hand here. We can try and see if we can get to turn 2-ish Doomsday if we draw another land here. We could also like put Psychic Frog through the cavern here. But yeah, this is probably, oh, it's lands, is it? Okay, no, it's not lands. It is Eldrazi. Okay, this is the one that, yeah, this is the one that deals damage whenever a colorless creature enters. Right, okay. I'm not going to fight over that. And I am going to play the Petal here in case they end up with a Vexing Bauble in play. I don't think they would be too concerned about like discarding this. Oh, I have Ugin here, so what's its face? Thought Not Seer could be a thing. I would love to draw a Dark Ritual here because then I would Dark Ritual out the One Ring, and then I would try and win on the subsequent turn with Doomsday. Yeah, let's draw the Ponder. I'm not too upset about that. There's a Cabal Ritual. So I guess, yeah. I think I'm going to draw the ring. So if they were to like drop a Cavern of Souls and then Thought Not Seer, they would probably take Doomsday, and then we could at least ritual out something. Oh, don't tell me that I am just able to see this coming. Oh no! Oh crap! It's the sowing microwave. No, micro spawn, and it's with kicker as well. So I'm just gonna lose both my lands here. I can't even counter it to try and get threshold and not like. And how big of a problem is this going to be for me? So I'm at 15. They attack me to 13. If I Doomsday, I'll be at 6 and they'll have 5 power, and they just need to resolve one colorless spell, or even is it on cast? Yeah, when you cast, they get a thing. Damn, that escalated quickly. Is there any point in acting right now? Probably not, right? So what do I need? I probably need Brainstorm to have a chance here. And then Brainstorm needs to show me like a land and a petal or like, yeah, land and a petal and a Brainstorm. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I think I've lost this one. Yikes. And look, this is, I think, quite telling. I'm gonna lose here with my Force of Will in my hand, and I could have used it on this Glaring Fleshraker, and we would not have been in this big of a problem. Now they have 2, and it remains to be seen if they can cast anything else. Mercifully, they only am able to put me to dead next turn. Consider, huh? So if I consider away something that draws a land, I could potentially resolve Ring. If I can get the threshold. Frog can go away. That's not a land. Okay. Yikes. I think I am going to pivot here. Or maybe I don't, because... Yeah, maybe I don't because I'm on the play. And I think it's still somewhat reasonable to expect to be able to beat, like, to have a fast Doomsday. Is there anything I want to bring in that... I guess the Consign to Memory are just, like, on... like, good enough. And I wonder if I'll probably cut, like, one Thassa. And... maybe one Street Wraith? No, I don't know. I also kind of just want to be fast, right? Maybe it's, like, one Frog. Like, the Frogs without the backup crew doesn't seem that... they don't seem that amazing. So, yeah, let's try this. Alright. Turn 1 Doomsday. Come on, buddy. Come on, deck. Almost. Okay, I think I'm going to just say pass here. And then I might consign something to memory, or I might just fetch Undercity Sewers and go fishing for a Dark Ritual or like a land, basically. Okay. There's a petal. Green mana. That was annoying. I guess I'll just counter the trigger. I think that's more important. Because once this is in play, right? It's just a 2/2, right? Whenever you cast, well, when you cast a spell, when it was kicked. I'm just gonna counter this triggered ability here. Alright, you have a 2/2. Dark Ritual? Land? Not that land! Okay, I'm gonna brainstorm here. And we're just... calm the fuck on! That is disappointing. Because now they just, like, the train gets to keep rolling here. Okay. So I will do it like this, and I'm gonna, I guess, name wizard and pass. Oh, if only I'd pondered. Why didn't I ponder? Yeah, slowly running out of faith in this. This is the line breaker. That means I'm gonna take a lot of damage. So I take 7. Next turn, I probably take like 8 or 9. At which point, I'm just almost dead. Yeah, which makes me regret that I put Street Wraith underneath or on top of Doomsday. Can I afford to cycle this? So what's the? I am gonna cycle this, and I'm gonna brainstorm it. And if I hit a dark ritual and a land, then it's good times for all. It's a lot to ask for, I know. Well, there was a land there. Um, where does this leave me? I'll be at 9. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, a creature you control gains haste and X number of Eldrazi. So if they play an Eldrazi, they'll have 5 damage, and then they'll give the creature they played haste and plus 3 plus O. So 5 plus, conservatively estimating it's a 2/2, and then 3 it's 5 more, so it's 10. So I am just dead here. Is my best hope to like Thoughtseize and see 3 non-creature spells and 1 creature? Seems pretty unlikely. But I might just have interest in doing that. I'm gonna put away consider and I guess daze. I don't expect to be able to daze anything with that thing in play. So wait, I'll be at 9. Right now they have 5 power. No, wait, no, they don't. They can just make one of these. Ah, god damn it. So they have 7 power right now as it is. So I would be dead if I did that. I guess I'll brainstorm again because like Ponder's not going to do it. Like 1 card is not going to do it. I'll need to hit like the 1 ring plus Dark Ritual here or something. Well, tough beats be tough. All right, 2 and 2. Let's go for the final round. Okay, on the play for the final round, and a pretty okay hand. Gonna keep, and I think I depending on what happens, I'll probably consider on my opponent's end step and take it from there. Scalding Tarn. We've not met a Nadu strategy, disappointingly. So the Knight of Souls Betrayal has not been come up. Scalding Tarn does not rule out Nadu, but I'm not too hopeful. I'm fully expecting an Underground Sea here. No, a Volcanic Island. Well, that's not really Nadu friendly either. There's Dragon Street Chandler. I'm going to consider in response so they don't get to daze and get a Surveil trigger if they have it. Yeah, I'll keep this on top. I'll draw. So this is probably Grixis Delver. Let's draw another petal or a ritual here, please. LED. So, what's the plan here? I think I just kind of like making them have both the daze and the force. I'm going to play the LED. Because if they... would that make sense? So let's say they have force and daze. They would, like 100 out of 100 times, they would force before they daze. Rather, sorry, the other way around. They would daze before they force. So they daze, I force. Then I'm not using LED to pay for anything here, so I don't think it really matters. But I also don't think there's a huge cost to playing it out. So they had the daze. Well, let's see. If they also have the force, then I am shit out of luck. There's a long pause, and they did have the force. Bummer. Okay. So this is not a recoverable position in like most games, but I'll play a couple more turns before I concede. Brainstorm. Okay. So they don't have Delirium yet. They actually only have 2 creature types. And they played their land and tapped it and then like untapped it. They floated red. So that's interesting. Ponder, I mean, I can't complain too much about Ponder. Show me a Doomsday or the One Ring. Frog. Okay. So I'm gonna draw Frog and then maybe I should have done it the other way around. But yeah, I'm gonna draw Frog and then Delta. Yeah, no, not the other way around. Doesn't matter because I wanna actually hold on to the Delta. And the reason I want to do that is because I would rather play around them having Lightning Bolt number 1 than Daze number 2. Oh, Wasteland. Okay, that's actually fine. So I'm gonna cycle and draw the land. I guess it's not fine. This way I'm not playing around the bolt. I might have to just wait one more turn. Yeah, because the thing is, I'm gonna need two cards in hand. Aside from my frog, for it to not like die to lightning bolt. But I also will need the second land, so I'm going to fetch Undercity Sewers most likely. And thankfully, this is still just a 1/1, so we can thank ourselves for the small favors. I do expect them to soon like accelerate this game and like play, I don't know, Murktide or something, or maybe a frog of their own. Like either of those 2 threats is good enough to probably end the game. Yeah, there's Murktide. It's gonna be a 6/6. All right, you have a 6/6, and maybe I'm supposed to not show them frog and have them think that I am just completely Doomsday. Let's bottom this. I mean, am I ever able to beat this Murktide with my psychic frog? Probably not, right? But it's not impossible. The frog, like we're gonna take 6, go to 9, then like we could find Doomsday and then win from there if their hand is crap. I am gonna play out the frog. Okay, so they don't have days, so that's good to know. They have lightning bolt. Okay, I'm gonna discard 2 cards then. And they have fatal push. Okay, interesting. So maybe they also have a push in hand. I don't know. So lightning bolt can resolve. They probably attack with both creatures because I can't really block the DRC here. Yeah, which means I take 7, which means I'm at 8. All right, let's see. Big money move here one time. This doesn't give them threshold. The thing, the thing I'm talking about. Delirium. So they know what I'm drawing here. What is it? Can I get to know? Cavern of Souls. That's not too exciting. Alright, so let's attack. I am aware that I am dead to them getting Delirium with their DRC, or them just having Lightning Bolt. But Lightning Bolt was going to get me no matter what, because I don't think it's a winning proposition for me to be, like, chumping my frog. So they can put me to 1, which means I can't ever put Doomsday on the stack. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. Okay. So the sideboard plan here is the same as versus the Dimir Scamnator decks. The only question is, is there any world where we would be happy to have Knight of Souls Betrayal as something big to do that would stop? It would, first of all, it would like shrink every creature by one, which I think is better for me than it is for them. And then, second of all, it would like mean that they could never play a non-delirious DRC, and if that's not very good. I don't envision that coming up as something good very often. If they play Bowmasters, that it would be very like I would be quite interested in that, but that's a pretty big if. So let's cut some cards here. Let's cut these 9. And let's see how we do. So in order to make room for these Knight of Souls Betrayal, I cut a Dismember and a Brazen Borrower, and those are both like one is actual removal, like the Dismember, and the other one is sort of suitor removal, and can be like a tempo pivot. And both of them are cards I would have been bringing in versus this deck, like this kind of deck. So I do think, and it is, in my experience, having this creature pivot, it does require you to play enough, like to have a density of removal spells and a density of impactful creatures. We certainly have the latter. We have 8 very good creatures post board, but I am a little bit concerned of like going down to from like I guess 7 to 5 removal spells. That's quite a drop actually. And as it turned out, like it was just pointless because we never saw the Nado deck. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a little bit of a gimmick. Okay, I'm going to keep this. It lets me fetch basics, and I think I'm gonna just turn 1 Thoughtseize here. Pyroblast and Ponder and Murktide. Okay, I'm gonna take the Ponder. Leave them with Pyroblast. Kind of sucks that they get to Pyroblast my Brainstorm, but it is what it is. I'm also not completely convinced they will do it, but they probably will. Because, like, first of all, it's not a bad play regardless. But second of all, like they also have an interest in like getting to be able to cast Murktide as quickly as possible. Love this Unearth on this Barrowgoyf. Okay. If they were to fetch here, I'd be quite pleased, because then I could fetch. Okay, I think I'm just going to Brainstorm in their upkeep, make them tap out their mana for this Pyroblast, if that is indeed what they're planning to do. Oh, but they just didn't, and I just was rewarded with a lot of lands. I kind of want all of this. The frog is going to eat the Pyroblast at some point, but we need to get rid of the Pyroblast anyways. Maybe we don't. Maybe I actually just want to be able to get the Barrowgoyf into the graveyard, or right into play. Okay, that was a second Delta, so their hand contains 2 unknowns. I'm going to play into a Daze here because I have the Unearth for the Barrowgoyf, but also because then Daze is not going to be in their hand for when I put the 1 ring on the stack. Okay, Barrowgoyf just in. Bobble, sure. Bobble themselves, that makes sense. That grows the Barrowgoyf. It's a 4/5 now. The lifelink on Barrowgoyf is just ridiculous. Okay. So now they have like 3 unknown cards. Very possible that one of those might be like a daze. Unless they might have boarded out some number of days as were on the draw. They brainstorm in my upkeep. Okay. I ponder. So I think I'm going to attack with the Barrel Roif. And I definitely will use the trigger. So let's say yes to this. We hit a Street Wraith. That's good. And then I think I'll cast Ponder actually, yeah. Another land, another Ponder. Yeah, I mean, the land was kind of what I was looking for to get to start resolving One Rings with no impunity. So that's the second like cantrip. They've been very patient with their Pyroblast, if indeed it's still in their hand. Ponder. Okay, so now they're able to cast. What's our friend's name? Murktide Regent. But I mean, Murktide Regent basically just if it blocks here. I don't know. Okay, they Fatal Push, sure. And then they what's this? Delver of Secrets. Okay. I think I know there's a Ponder on top, but like if I could hit a Daze here or something, that would be sweet as. Dark Ritual. So let's see here. We'll have 5, 6, 7 mana. Yeah, I might just take the Dark Rit. And I think I'll Dark Rit out the One Ring. And then if they force that, I will unearth probably. I might cycle in between. So I feel like their hand is still... Ooh, that just resolved? Sick. Okay, let's draw a card. And that was a Daze. We would have cycled into that. Lovely. Okay, so let's unearth this Barrowgoyf. Oh, and they just concede. Okay, cool. So now comes the tricky part, which is winning the game 3 on the draw versus the tempo deck. So basically, you need to be able to keep up with their threats and to not get shut down by Wasteland. So that's not easy, but we'll try. Yeah, sometimes if things have gone the other way around, like if I had won game 1 and now lost game 2, I would consider boarding back into Doomsday for game 3 and just try and hope to get a fast resolution of Doomsday. But I'm always more interested in doing that versus non-red tempo decks than red tempo decks because of like the bolt factor. So yeah, but let's resubmit here and hope for the best. Yes, this is okay. We probably would we would very much like a way to get to basic swamp here. They have DRC. Okay, sweet. So I think I'm gonna Lotus Petal here. So, and I'm just gonna push her right now. This will cost them a Force of Will or of Negation if they want to not lose this. Okay, they were just F6'd, it seems. The fact that they were playing Fatal Push is a little bit frustrating because that kind of gets all my creatures, including Shieldred, if they get to Revolt. But there are just limits to how much they can, how much removal I think they can afford to keep in, while still having to somewhat respect the Doomsday plan. Okay, they didn't shuffle off of the Ponder, played Underground Sea. They know Daze is not a factor right now, so what's the score? Delver, okay. So, petal, huh? Drawing the second petal is interesting. I think I'm actually going to lead on. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith here. I could, like, at a later point, have, like, Brainstorm and then Brainstorm back Street Wraith and then attack, get the trigger and all that stuff, but. Okay. I think that means I'm gonna hold on to my Cabal Ritual here, and I'm gonna play Barogoyf, which is a big old boy, a 5/6 here. And I hope they don't have Fatal Push, obviously. If they do, so be it. So, felt like they were considering casting Brainstorm here. They flip off of Daze. Good to know. Ponder. Okay. Now, like, without a land, Fatal Push is not like a catastrophe. Because we can daze it. And then the daze we pay with our pedal. And it costs us a pedal, but it costs them a Fatal Push. That kind of thing. They also, I guess, they would need to get to Revolt. So in either case, they can't Fatal Push Barrowwolf without, like, a land. And they do find land, a fetch land. Gross. And they choose not to. Okay. Brainstorm. Okay, so they found another like cantrip. That's cool. That's better for us than them just finding the fatal push. Looks like they found it though. So I wonder if they also have force of will here. I mean, if they force, it's bad because we lose the Barrowgoyf. But then at least like we're facing down a Delver, yes, but we have Brainstorm and Cabal Ret. Okay, they're dazing. Makes me think they have double daze. That'd be kind of gross. Okay, no. Push just happened, or rather was dazed. And they're attacking here. I guess they don't want to lose their Delver, so they might as well attack. They're not planning on jumping. I think we just send it here. I could Brainstorm actually rather and get the quote unquote shuffle. I think maybe I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, let's do that. And I'll put back. I guess I'll put back Cabal Rit and Scalding Tarn. I'd rather keep like the ability to Force of Will and have a Dismember available. And yummy, yummy, yummy life gain. And I'm gonna mill 5. We don't hit anything. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay. I mean, it's not unfortunate. Like, it's not unlucky. We aren't playing that big of a saturation of creatures, but it would have been nice. They have a frog, ribbit. Yep. And they attack. And ooh, if we hit Shouldred here, that's gonna be nice. Just gonna attack here, give them the chance to jump block. They're not gonna do it. I go to 20. I'll mill 5, yes. I do hit Shouldred. You don't say. I also hit Frog, but I'd rather have Shouldred. They didn't have the second daze before, so I was hoping they haven't drawn it. And if they have, I can force. They didn't, so there's that. I think this is hopefully GG's, but we'll see. They're at 6. Yeah, okay, they concede. All right, cool, cool. So we beat 2 of the 3 tempo decks, one of which was one of the ones we beat was the actual scam deck with Grief, because yeah, the the person had queued up before the ban. Okay, yeah. Interesting league. kind of yeah, I feel a little bit silly for putting in the Knight of Souls Betrayal, but I mean, it was always going to be a bit of a punt. You don't know, like Legacy is a big format. You can't really know what you're going to face in like one league. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna persist with this. I would at least like to at least see what it's like if I face Nadu. So there's that. I didn't really feel the whole like having three cyclers again, just one league. Was very pleased to be able to come back from losing game one in round five versus the Grixis Delver deck, and I am a little bit concerned, like I said, about having that this few of removal spells. I could see myself going back up to the second dismember as well, and then maybe it's between cutting the Knight of Souls Betrayal or cutting the Emrakul Sheldock thing. Um, yeah, we got whooped by Eldrazi, but actually, let me take you into my results spreadsheet again. So so I am, like you can see, I'm like 87 matches in, and my match win percentage before this league was 73, which is crazy high. Like I knew normally settle at around 60 to 62%. Um, and this is obviously it's not that many matches, but it's not like, it's not 10 matches and I won 8, 80% where so it is enough I think to at least get a little bit of a feel for it. And let's see here. I grouped the matches. So versus Eldrazi, I, as you can see, have a pretty decent record. Um, so let's see here, 12, 11 down to 26. So what would that be? 17. Um, no, yeah, I'm bad at looking at Excel rows and columns. Uh, yeah, all right, it's 16, and I am 11-5, which, if you do the math, is, you know, it's a pretty good record. Um, it does feel, this is my experience, this is also kind of how it felt today. It feels very lopsided in either direction. Like the person who wins feels like they're like they were ahead from early in the game and then they just close out the game. Um, it, it it doesn't feel that swingy in games, so that is interesting, and it is a bit of a scary matchup. Um, I feel very good versus tempo decks. I have to say, it's funny. Like for the longest time, for like the first 3 years or so of me playing Doomsday, that felt like my life's calling. in Yeah, no, I mean my life. It felt like my life's calling in terms of like Magic, where I felt like all I all my energy was focused on how do we beat Delver, and Delver was just like this was back when it was blue red Delver for the most part, and it was just it was such a hard matchup, and whenever you did win, you felt like you'd gotten super lucky, and we tried everything, the Doomsday community, like I think, and it just never it wasn't terrible, it wasn't as bad as it was being made out to, and this was, mind you, in a like during a time when the Delver deck was pretty easily the best deck in the format. And when the best deck in the format is a bad matchup for you, then people, I think, sometimes tried to reach the conclusion that, well, I mean, that must make Doomsday a bad call, but I don't think it ever really was, or at least not for long spells, because the core of Doomsday is very strong, and in capable hands it it just is it's a very potent deck. And yeah, you're not favored versus the tempo deck, but you're then very favored versus some, like a significant portion of other decks. And I don't know. All that has changed though. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm like reading too much into too little data. That could very well be. But this is just like on an emotional or like a sort of personal, subjective level. my experiences anecdotally, I feel a lot more confident now. I feel a lot more confident with this setup. I feel like Shoulder was like the big game changer, because it gave us a card, a creature that is not easy for Delver to remove, traditionally, and that synergizes with Dark Ritual, which is already in your deck, and it is like can solo the game. Funnily enough, I feel like Shieldred is a lot like playing with MT the Warrens in old Ad Nauseam Tendrils. It's like your opponent saw what you were doing game one and they prepared for it for game two, and then like you resolve a Dark Ritual and they're sitting with like Force of Negation and Flusterstorm, and then you cast Shieldred and they're looking at their cards and it's like, oh shit. And you're looking at them saying, okay, shit. I mean, I just hope this works. I just hope that this can ride to victory. Sometimes that's what it felt like with MT the Warrens, where you'd like make, you'd start going off with Dark Rituals, and then you resolve a Petal, and you knew, okay, now I can actually put MT the Warrens on the stack, and your opponent was sitting there with like a Force of Will, expecting you to put Infernal Tutor on the stack and sack LED, but instead you made like 8 or 10 goblins, and you're like, okay, I know you probably have like a couple of outs to this in your deck, so I'm just hoping you're not sitting on them right now, and that I can close this out. Because Shoulder is such a fast clock as well, it just kind of gives me that vibe. And then I think like Barrowgoyf really has cemented the plan of being like a Dimir deck with non-red blastable, non-pyroblastable, hard to remove ish, anyways. Like hard hitting, life gaining threats. That's really what Doomsday would have liked in all this time. So very very psyched about where we are, and also psyched about Psychic Frog. I don't expect this to stay the course. I expect that the clamors for this to be banned are going to rise in the coming months, and if it doesn't happen in December, which is the next BNR announcement, it probably will happen at some point during like in 2025. But we'll see. It might not. There were a lot. I feel like the the concerns for Psychic Frog are maybe a little bit higher, but not that much higher than when Orcish Bowmasters were just sort of at the same point in their life, in that card's life. And look at that, like no one is talking about banning Bowmasters, right? It's just like a completely accepted sort of part of the format and is currently not seeing a lot of play. So we'll see. All right, with that said, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, go ahead, please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you really, really want to support the channel, you can consider becoming a member. There's a link in the description. Guys, I just really appreciate that you're all watching, guys and gals and whatnot. And I will be back with some more Legacy. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.